Am I the idiot for exposing the true paternity of my friend's son at her family gathering? This sounds so bad, I know, and I am mortified, but I had no idea what I was doing. I, female 40, was invited to stop by and see one of my dearest friends from childhood at her mother's home yesterday evening. She lives overseas, and hadn't been in the States for years, so she wanted me to stop by even though they had other family visiting her mother as well. When I got there, my friend introduced me to a couple of her cousins and their husbands. At that point, all the kids were downstairs in the playroom, but she called her son to come up so I could meet him. Her son came and shook my hand, and I remarked how handsome he was. He has deep dimples, and gorgeous hazel eyes with long lashes. Right behind him was a girl about the same age with the same eyes and dimples. I said to my friend, "Oh, I didn't know you had a daughter too. You two look like twins." The room was suddenly quiet. My friend's son corrected me and said the girl is his cousin, not his sister. My friend was shooting daggers at me with her eyes as if I'd said something terrible, and her cousin, who I'd later find out was the mother of the girl, got up and left the room looking upset. Her husband followed her. Things became so weird and awkward from that moment on, I made an excuse to leave. Only this afternoon when my friend's younger sister called, we were also friends in school, did I find out why. So, apparently, my friend had an affair with her cousin's husband when she lived with them briefly, and her son is the product of that affair. From what I was just told, she won't admit it, but everyone has suspected it because the older her son gets the more he looks like the man. I honestly didn't notice the resemblance last night because the husband had just given me a quick wave from the far side of the room where he was watching a game. The reason the cousin, his wife, got upset and left the room is she's suspected something for years, but everyone has worked hard at convincing her she's paranoid and seeing a resemblance that's not there. So, I'm the idiot in the scenario now and ruined everyone's Christmas, or at least that's how it seems because my friend won't return my call or texts. Edit to add. The reason I made the leap to thinking the girl was my friend's daughter is she came upstairs with the son, while all the other kids stayed downstairs, and she was standing behind the son as if awaiting her turn to be introduced to me. Update: I found the cousin and her husband on Facebook this morning and got a good look at him and all the kids. He also has 2 sons with his wife. He has very unique and striking features, and the kids all look exactly like him, as does my friend's son. Any stranger off the street would immediately know they were his kids. What a mess. His poor wife, being told she was crazy all these years, and now probably feeling foolish as well as embarrassed and inexcusably betrayed. Not the idiot. If they had to work so hard to gaslight the cousin to stop her suspicions, then the entire lie was already on shaky foundations before you were invited in without a crash helmet. You did nothing wrong. They are the ones who lied and the consequences were bound to fall on them eventually. Not the idiot. If you don't want your affair to come to light, perhaps don't have one with a family member who is going to be around all the time. She has nobody to blame but herself. Not the idiot, and you did the nicest thing for that poor woman, who must have been gaslit to high heaven by her entire family the last 7 years. She knows she isn't insane, never was. Am I the idiot for quietly leaving my boyfriend's family Christmas when his mom was trying to set him up with the next door neighbor in front of me? I visited my boyfriend's family for the first time and it was so awkward. I was literally just sitting there at dinner and his mom starts talking about how the neighbor girl is single, and pretty, and a good Christian. And she was going to invite her to New Year's. I was sitting there like, what the freak? It felt like she was trying to put me in my place or something, and despite my boyfriend declining, he was being very unassertive about it when I would have been saying, what the absolute freak are you saying, mom, in his shoes? So I got up, got my casserole, cake, pie, and wine from the kitchen, and headed out. Drove home to my place. And texted my boyfriend. Not here for this reality dating show drama. LOL. Is your mom always like this? He asked me where I was and I said I'd headed out. I'm not into the trashy reality TV drama vibe. He asked where and I said I was at home. He said he didn't want me to spend Christmas alone and I said, come on by. He felt conflicted because his family was already tense after they realized I'd left with my cooking and the dessert. I said come by, or don't, just tell me when you figure it out. But then I ate a bunch of casserole and cake, drank a load of wine, and fell asleep. My boyfriend was texting and calling a lot when I was asleep but I missed it all. He had apparently decided to leave the party and spend the night with me, but when I didn't answer he ended up staying. The next day I asked him if he sorted things out with his mom so she doesn't go saying crap anymore. He said he'd stated he wasn't interested when it was happening. I asked if he could have a serious talk after the fact because I was there when it was happening and I don't think she got it. He wasn't sure. So I just made other plans for New Year's because even though he'd invited me to his, I wanted a good time and not to be dealing with pettiness. My boyfriend was frustrated I dipped on New Year's too, and it's been an ongoing argument. I think he should have chewed out his mom on Christmas for being petty and weird. He thinks I shouldn't have ghosted with my food, especially because I'd brought a few big parts of the Christmas dinner. Am I the idiot for dipping on Christmas dinner? LOL, I like this. OP, your boyfriend has a very small window to step up here. I hope he does. If not, you've got the right way of handling this crap show. Please keep us updated. Not the idiot. 100% not the idiot. You don't get to be neutral during conflicts between your significant other and your family, especially when one of them is clearly in the wrong. Plus, I'd be genuinely shocked if his mother has never done something like this before, so it needs to happen no matter what OP chooses. He's either going to assert himself by telling mom to shape up and accept the people he chooses to date under threat of low contact or no contact, or he's going to have to accept that mommy will be de facto picking out his partner by being insufferable to anyone who doesn't align with her vision. Not the idiot. The best part was you taking the food back. He's exactly like his mother. Mother bringing in other girl while son has a girlfriend. Boyfriend says nothing, mother treats girlfriend like she doesn't exist. No one gets cake. He's not an adult yet, he doesn't know what he wants. Run. Am I the idiot for telling my uncle nobody wants to deal with his family drama? I'm graduating high school in the summer. My parents and my boyfriend's parents are throwing us a joint graduation celebration. I already told my mom that I don't really want her brother, my uncle there, or his family, that my boyfriend's family don't need to deal with the drama my uncle has. Saying that seemed to make more of the family feel the same about not wanting to deal, and he was annoyed when he realized what was going on. He was at our house the other day and said how not getting any invites for Christmas or only him and his wife getting invites was frustrating since he was hoping for the whole family. The deal with them is, he has 4 kids, 2 with his wife and 2 with 2 other women. All 4 kids are defensive of their moms and they fight over who has the best mom, whose mom is the best person, over their siblings' relationships or lack thereof with their moms, and in general when they are all together, and usually the other 2 moms are there as well. Because it was always expected for them to be invited, it becomes chaos and nobody is able to rein them in. At a family wedding about 3 years ago, my cousins got into this huge fight in the middle of everything because he brought up how he used to try and break my uncle's marriage up and get his parents back together so he could have the best family possible. The 2 cousins from his marriage were upset and annoyed. He felt like his family wasn't the best with their mom, and then my other cousin felt her mom would have made things the best, and it just spiraled from there. So I told him nobody wanted to deal with their drama and that's why they're not invited anymore. He was pissed at me for talking to him that way. I told him to imagine how difficult it was for us being around those fights. I always kind of suspected he might not be fully done with the 2 exes and that's why they were around and why he never seemed to care about my 2 older cousins saying that stuff. But I'm not digging that deep. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. What did I just read? He brings his competing baby mamas to family gatherings? That is just 5 shades of bad idea. OP, if your family is agreeing like this, you're obviously not the idiot. This is something people were obviously already thinking, but you were the first one with a reason, the inclusion of your boyfriend's family, to put it to words. He's allowed that drama to grow, and now this is the result of that. If he wants his whole family invited, he can get them to start behaving like family. Unfortunately, it sounds like he's let it get far too toxic. I don't know how old the kids are, but there is a point in which the kids have to learn how to behave in a public setting. They can fight all they want at home, but it's like they aren't conscious of the fact that they are in a public setting. Nobody wants to be around all that. Your uncle and his sister-wives situation need to figure out how to co-parent and tell the kids to be civil while outside of the house. They can go all WWE at home. As for the rest of the family, it is their choice as to whether or not they want to be subjected to it as well. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. I'd say at first, the family had something of an obligation to not single out some relatives at family gatherings. But the relatives have an obligation to be good guests. How old are these cousins? Are they so young that they don't know how to behave yet? If so, then their parents are the problem for failing to correct them. That type of parenting gets lots of families justifiably removed from future invitations. Or are the cousins older, where they should know better? I'd still put it on the parents for failing them. If the cousins are grown, then they are separate from the parents and you can just invite those that you have a close relationship to, if any. To be honest, I think you're being kind to keep inviting just your uncle and his current wife. I would have dropped the whole crew. If he wants the whole family, however he defines his family, he can host his own events. It is very telling that many others have jumped on the bandwagon with you. Good for you for speaking up when it's clear that others were afraid to. Am I the idiot for making my sister leave my house at a family dinner? I, 21 female, live with my now fiancé, 25 male, and we like to have our families come over for dinners or to hang out. My fiancé proposed over the weekend and we did not tell anyone except my sister, 27, and his best friend. We wanted to surprise everyone with the announcement and invited them over for dinner, and my sister knew we would be announcing our engagement. At the end of the meal, before we brought out dessert, we told everyone that we had some exciting news. This is when my sister cut me off mid-sentence and said I am pregnant again. Everyone in the family was so excited and happy for her and her husband. I think I stood for a solid minute with my jaw dropped. My grandma then made a comment to me about how sweet it was to have made this dinner for her announcement. I was furious and walked up to her and her husband and said, "Please leave." She looked like I had just stabbed her with my words. She started crying and saying how I wasn't excited for her and I was just jealous of her life, and she didn't think I even liked my nephew, too, whom I love and spoil. I told her then that she had to leave, that she and her husband could not stay anymore. My mom was furious with me and told me I had to apologize after my sister left my house. Her and my dad went on about how insensitive I was being and that was disrespectful to send my pregnant sister out of my house. I apologized to her and my family, but I still don't think I was in the wrong. I still have not told my family about my engagement. So am I the idiot? Edit. I FaceTimed with my mom and dad this morning and spoke with them calmly about everything that happened. My dad agreed with me that it was disrespectful of her to take my moment and my dinner. My mom, on the other hand, said I was still insensitive and it was unfair of me to ruin my sister's moment and that I could have announced it a different day and let her have the moment. Not the idiot. Your sister sucks for sure, but I think you probably should have told your family. After your grandma made that comment, you should have said that your sister hijacked the event and you told her it was to announce your engagement. By not telling everyone, it makes it look like your sister announced her pregnancy and you got so mad you kicked her out. So people are gonna think you are an idiot instead of realizing your sister is to blame. I think this is the right way to deal with it. Celebrate it with an announcement dinner with your fiancé's family or your mutual friends. Then tell your family what happened in a chat that no one else can see. OP owes no one an apology. Mom and grandma should have known something was up and tried to get to the bottom of it. OP should have said what was going on, but I don't blame her for not acting optimally when blindsided. To be honest, I think most of the "she stole my moment" posts are dumb and self-centered, but this one is 100% warranted. Sister knew the purpose of the dinner, she knew the secret to be revealed, and she blurts out her scene-stealing bit at the exact moment OP was making her announcement. What the freak is wrong with her? Sister either has to be very low IQ and EQ and socially inept to hijack that moment, or she has to be as petty and mean as Cinderella's stepmother, and for some reason unable to stand the idea of her sister getting unique family attention, and in both cases she has to be almost pathologically self-centered. I mean, under these specific circumstances, that is sociopathic, narcissistic behavior. I lean toward the latter interpretation because her accusing OP of being jealous of her is almost textbook projection of what she had to have been feeling to do what she did. OP is not the idiot. Sister is the idiot. Sister owes OP an apology, and a little therapy couldn't hurt her either. Move on though, OP, and share the news first with people who weren't there for that mess, and don't let sister's colossal butt at that dinner taint any more of the engagement or wedding process. Let it end up being a minor glitch preceding many better happy memories of you and fiancé starting your life together. Edit. Thanks for the update. I'm glad you were mature and responsible and discussed this with your parents like rational adults, even if you all didn't agree at the end of the FaceTime. I'm glad your dad supported you. Your mom is still wrong though. That was your moment, not your sister's, and if anyone should have let the other person have their moment, it was your sister that should have let you have yours. Unless your mom is actively and firmly pressuring your sister to recognize that sister did something wrong and needs to apologize to you and make it up to you, she doesn't get to criticize how you reacted to your sister's self-centered hijacking of the night you planned and put together for your engagement announcement. Yeah. She's not the idiot, but she sure looks like one, and she's done nothing to dissuade people of that perception, and that's going to make it difficult to navigate this. If she's still holding on to some ideal announcement, she should probably let it go at this point. A group announcement to the family perhaps? Or just let one person in the family know, but also tell them they can tell everyone else about the engagement, and explain that's why she had been upset at the dinner, since the sister knew she was announcing this before stealing her thunder. It just might come across better from someone else at this point. Not the idiot. You should tell everyone the dinner was for your engagement and your sister knew beforehand. If anyone still sides with her, I'd go low contact with them, and I wouldn't include your sister in your bridal party and or planning.